Hi, this is Walt Belcher with a story about a mountain man named Jack and how he survived the coldest winter in the history of the Appalachian. Yeah, it was so cold that winter. It was so cold that Jack couldn't build a fire. He was a moonshiner and he needed a fire to run his still. But if he tried to build a fire outside, well, the flames would freeze. It was that cold. And birds were freezing in the sky and falling on Jack's head. He took to wearing a metal colander that he got out of the kitchen so the birds would bounce off. Of course, the colander froze to his wool cap and he had to wear it for 3 months. But that was the least of his problems. You see, Jack was a moonshiner and he needed a fire because his moonshine was the top seller in this county. People loved his moonshine. It tasted great. He had a secret ingredient. His cousin down in Florida would send him lemons, and he'd squeeze those lemons up into homemade lemonade and put it in his moonshine. People liked it. It was really great, but he wasn't making any. Now, Jack had enough food to last for the winter. He didn't need the money from the moonshine, and he had enough wood to keep the fire going in the house. Well, he could build a fire in the house, he just couldn't build one outside. It was so cold. But even that fire in the house couldn't keep him warm enough. Yeah, at night he was cold. He'd build a fire and he'd snuggle up to it and get his backside warm. And then he would try to walk over to the bed. And by the time he got to the bed, he was cold again. And he was shivering under the covers. Yeah, it was cold for Jack. And and so he got an idea though. He got an idea. He was losing sleep, staying up all night, trying to tend that fire. He thought he knew there was a black bear, a big old black bear, hibernating in a cave around the other side of the mountain. Now, his idea would be to get the fur coat off that bear. He didn't know how he was going to do it, though, because you couldn't fire a rifle outside. It was so cold that when the bullet left the barrel, it would freeze and fall to the ground. So he had a knife. He had a big old hunting knife, and Jack thought, well, I'll slip into that cave one night. That bear's asleep, hibernating. I'll get me a fur coat. I'll scalp him and bring a coat back. So Jack takes his big old hunting knife and he goes into the woods and he goes around into the cave and he slips up on that bear. And Jack sees that bear laying there so peaceful and calm and sleeping and snoring even. And Jack says, oh, I can't do it. I can't kill that bear. I can't take its coat. But I wonder how deep his sleep is. I wonder how much he's hibernating. Can I bring him back home? And Jack gets a hold of that bear's foot and he pulls it a little bit and the bear don't wake up. And he pulls a little bit more, and the bear don't wake up. And so Jack says, "Well, I'll just drag him home." And he does. He drags that bear all the way across the forest into his house and into his bed. And then he snuggles up next to that bear under the blanket. And the bear don't wake up. No, the bear grabs Jack and hugs him and kind of nestles in with him. Don't wake up. And every night that winter, Jack would go to bed with that bear, like a human teddy bear he was to that bear. And they snuggled together and they survived the winter. And the bear never did wake up. Now springtime comes and things are thawing out. And Jack goes outside to see if he can light up his still. The bear is still asleep. Jack goes outside and he lights a fire. Now this old copper still that he had, is made from two big copper tubs that Jack had welded together. And it had been sitting all winter long out there, water getting into it, condensing a little bit. And when Jack lit that fire and it got hot, well, it still exploded. The top blew right off. It split in two, and the lid went flying away. And there was this tub, a copper tub with steam rising off of it from the heated moonshine. And Jack says, "Oh, that looks pretty good. And I hadn't had a bath all winter, and I've been sleeping with a bear. I think I'll get in there." And Jack takes his clothes off. He strips down and jumps in that tub, and it feels so good, nice and warm bath. Now the explosion has woke up the bear. The bear wakes up and he's in a bed. He's in a cabin. He's not in the cave anymore. And the bear is alarmed and is excited. And he jumps up and he runs out of the cabin. And he sees Jack over there in that tub and he heads right for him. Now, Jack is frightened. He thinks he's a goner because that bear is coming. It's coming right at him. Old bear climbs in there and reaches over and licks Jack in the face and gives him a hug. Yes, something happened to their relationship when they snuggled together all that winter. That maybe their dreams mingled, and maybe they got used to each other's smell. Whatever it was, the bear was now Jack's pet. His